management, education, administration, and public administration, spanning the private and public sectors. Upon a screening by the Kwara State House of Assembly and a subsequent confirmation, she was assigned the portfolio of the Ministry of Finance and Planning, as she became one of the youngest commissioners of finance ever in Nigeria. She holds a bachelor's degree in industrial chemistry from the University of Ilorin, Kwara State, and a master's MSc in industrial chemistry from the same institution. She also holds a postgraduate diploma in education from the National Teachers Institute, Kaduna, and a certificate in international public sector accounting standards and international financial reporting from the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, ACCA, United Kingdom. She's presently the lead consultant for Chassis Consulting Limited, a management consulting firm that provides professional advisory for both private and public sectors through training and business development, policy interventions, and assurance services. She's married and blessed with wonderful children. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Also, I wouldn't want to say good morning, good afternoon, or good night, irrespective of where you're from, but greetings to you all from wherever you're joining us from. It's a huge honor to be part of the World Youth Skills Day event and joining through OCI for this wonderful program they've been doing from yesteryear till date. And I don't know if it will be possible if I'm able to be made the host so that I can share my screen. Can I be made the host so that I can share my screen? Because I'm not sure if there is
I'm going to do that now. Yes, you can.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Are you sure now?
Okay. Yes. One minute, please. Oops. Now I don't know, problem because I'm using an Android. I really don't know, and I hope I don't have to change my system.
Or can you send it to me?
Yes, I can. I think I've sent it to you. You have it in your mail already.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay. 1 second, please. Yeah, okay. I found it.
Okay, I think while we wait for the screen to be shared or for my documents to be shared, being a management consultant, having been in several training sessions, one major disadvantage of running virtual meetings are this, because we can speak for as much as it's necessary. We would want our participants to know what we're talking about, but eventually there are things that they do not get while we're speaking. They can actually see a document as a referral, as a reference to, and we can actually be on the same page while I take them through the program of the day. Yes.
Okay, I have it now. Can you
Make you the host now.
yes, yes, please.
So,
Can you say it? I think it's right by my name.
okay.
So you click on more and then
Done, I guess.
okay. I've seen it.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. As I said earlier, it's a privilege to be here. It's a major, major honor to be here this morning, taking us through the topic for the day. So the first topic I have, and thank you OCI for making me the first guest speaker. And I think every other speaker will flow along the line of my own discussion, because when we're talking about World Youth Skills Day, or youth skills in particular, there is a part of skills, because you cannot have the skills that we're talking about today without developing yourself. So that's why my topic is self-development, an agent for visibility and influence. An agent for visibility and influence. And I am Oyeyemi Olasumbo Florence, as has been told by the host earlier, by the anchor person earlier, and I'm a certified fraud examiner, and also, I'm also a management consultant. All right, so while she was reading my citation, I know some people will be wondering, I started as an industrial chemist, I moved into the educational sector, I moved into the public sector, going into finance, and I'm also a management consultant. People might wonder that how did I transit from that level to another level to another level? So that is why we're talking about self-development, because as you grow in your respective career, you will see that opportunities will present itself to you. And how do you fit into the opportunities when they are presented to you? How ready are you? How well equipped are you to fill in the role that you find yourself, whatsoever role that you find yourself? So that's why most times I always love to share this wonderful story of mine. I studied industrial chemistry, first degree, and I think Miranda and I met during the master's degree. Oh, it's possible I know you during the first degree, but
I think so.
we did masters together. When I mean kind of, because I didn't finish my masters on time because of job opportunities and all. But we did masters together. So she's also an industrial chemist, I would say. I hope she's still an industrial chemist.
Yes.
All right, so after I finished my first degree as an industrial chemist, I was posted to serve in Kwara, and having been interested in a particular industry, the kind of industry I knew I'll be able to put in my qualification. I won't say expertise now, because at that time there was no experience. So I wanted to get a first-hand experience as a youth corper. So I tried every best to be posted to a company, to an industry, and I was posted to Lukon. So when I got to Lukon, as a youth, I said, oh yes, I wanted Lukon, and I got Lukon. And I got there and they said, oh, sorry, we don't receive coppers again. We don't accept coppers here, because the previous coppers that have been here before, they did not behave properly. So we've shut all our doors for future core members. Now, that's the first lesson of the day. Anywhere we find ourselves as youth, we should try as much as possible to maintain the right standard that is expected of us, such that wherever we find ourselves, we do not shut the door for upcoming people or those that are incoming into the position you hold. So when you're in a position, you know that I am here, and I want to deliver the best of my ability, so that future people or future youth that are coming behind me, or future women that are coming behind me, or other women that are coming behind me, when we're talking about equity and equality in the sense of it, and we want them to have a chance. But those that have been there before, how well do you open doors of opportunities for those coming behind you? So that was a lesson I learned, and I said, oh, previous youth corporates did not behave properly, so that's why I'm suffering from this. So there was no point. I had to look for another PPA. Then I got to a school. So when I got to the school, I got into the school as a youth corper, and over the span of 5 years. So for the first year as a youth corps member, I had to prove myself to say, oh, I can do all things. So I was in the laboratory as a laboratory assistant. I run their jet projects for them, their jet club for them. I ran the IT department for them. I was involved in the home economics department and all of it because I had my hands in a lot of things. They really wanted me to stay, even though they had no space for me. And I thought, oh, the money would be actually important since I'd already put in for my master's degree and all of that. Then I moved into the educational sector. Then I spent 5 years in the cabinet as an executive member of the cabinet. And I thought, oh, since I've spent 5 years after several self-developments and growth in the educational sphere, it is right for them to just put me in the Ministry of Education. Lo and behold, I was put in Ministry of Finance and Planning. Finance and planning, well, I never thought, even some of my friends that studied industrial chemistry that were in the banking sector. At that time, I was making jest of them, like, why would you study something that big and you find yourself in the finance sector? Lo and behold, I find myself in the finance and planning sector. So that's like a development sector. And I know that for me to perform optimally, for me to deliver as it's expected of me, I need to gain more knowledge so that I can fit in, I can harness my talent, I can contribute what put me through to do international public sector accounting standard and international financing reporting with ACCA. And also I did a course with Harvard. So I'm also an Harvard alumni. I did public finance in a complex world. So all of this explained to me, put me at the edge of what public financial management means or what it entails in the system of education, what it entails in the system of development for every country. And from there, I did a I did a course as a fraud examiner, so I became certified as a fraud examiner. So as a fraud examiner, apart from you investigating fraud, you can also develop fraud policies for organization. You can also run ethics and compliance system for organizations and all of that. So that was what geared me into management consultants, as the case may be. So for all of this, you can see that over time, I've been able to develop myself, develop my capacity, whereby I'm expanding my horizon, I'm expanding my knowledge about things that is to be done and how well I can fit into the system so that I'm not a pity party member in anywhere I find myself. I know that there is something in me that I can contribute. There's something in me that can be, there's something in me that can add, that can influence wherever I am positively. There's something in me that can contribute maximally to wherever I find myself. So that's why self-development is a major passion for me, because as you're growing, opportunities will present itself, and how well you grasp, how well you embrace this opportunity is what makes you fit into wherever you find yourself. Please, can you take it to the next slide? So that's about self-development and how I veered into self-development as a program. So can we go to the next slide where we have, okay. So at the conclusion of this session, I'm sure many people don't do this, but as a management consultant, as an adult trainer, it is important that whatever I'm taking, once I'm taking you through a course or taking people through a program, it is expected that they have something behind their mind on what they intend to achieve at the end of the program. What does this program, what will it give you at the end of this session that I'm with you? And at the end of other sessions that will come, you should have something in mind that you would expect. So I'm expecting the participants on this program, they should be able to chart their self-development manual after this program. They should be able to position themselves strategically for influence and visibility wherever you find yourself, be it in an organization or you are an entrepreneur. How can you influence and how can you be visible by all? And also you should be able to measure your growth index per time, per moment, and per session. Next slide, please. Next slide, ma'am. All right, so if we were using Camtasia or other programs, this would have been, but I would like you to please drop the answer in the inbox session. Which amongst this list here impacts and influences career growth? Is it organizational training program? Is it self-development program, qualifications, all of the above or none of the above? Can our participants please just drop the answers in the chat box? I'll be reading it through. All of the above. Thank you, Oluwaseun Adeboye. Yes, other people, can you please quickly drop all of the above? Thank you, thank you. This is just a form of engagement session for us to know people that are in tune with what we're doing here today. Just for you to read through the questions and let me know what you feel, all of the above. Yes, thank you. Ike Magbabiaka. Okay, I would have loved to see more answers. I can see answers from 3 people here. Okay, 4, yes, yes, yes. All right, that being said, from all the answers we have here, we can talk about all of the above. Yes, it is all of the above. And most times these things is coming about perspective, how you see things. Because without qualifications for one, you cannot be in an organization. And for you to grow in that organization, you also need self-development program, because you see, self-development is something that is personal to you. It is something about you, you wanting to grow, you wanting to impact, you wanting to influence. And even if you get your qualifications, if you get your organizational training program, as the case may be, or you're being trained from time to time, if you do not develop yourself, tactically, if you do not develop yourself in every way, you might not be able to bring out the changes that you want. So when you're developing, it is your own intuition, it is your own contribution, it is your own feeling, it is your own perspective, it is your own thing, it's your own doing. That is why it is called self-development program. But whichever way it is, for you to influence career growth through your organizational training program, through the qualifications you've gotten for yourself, you need to develop yourself personally, and to take every course or every program, such as the one OCI is organizing today, to ensure to embrace all of this personally, so that you can put it into, or you can contribute whatever you learn into your daily living. Next slide, please. All right, so these are the definition of terms. So we have self-development, we have visibility and influence. And self-development is like a continuous process of consciously improving ourselves. So that's why I said in qualification, in organizational training program, you have to be conscious about it. Wherever you find yourself learning new skills, learning growth, you must be conscious about it, that this is centered at improving myself. And the visibility is just increasing how aware you are. How aware you are of yourself there. How do you know that, okay, I'm visible, people can see me, people can see what I'm doing, I'm visible, I'm putting myself in the view of others. That's visibility. And influence is the capacity you have to have an effect on character. You have an effect on the character development and behavior of a person or something, or the effect itself. Next slide. So this is self-development, this is visibility and influence. And for every self-development program you do, it must be centered around you being visible, that you can achieve, and you being in whatever capacity you find yourself. So there's a quote for thoughts here. Do not go through life, but grow through life. And how do you grow through life? Growing through life is you developing yourself at every stage of the life. So that's why you have it growing addition. All right, so next slide, please, ma'am. Next slide. Okay. So now this is like an interconnection of growth. This is an interconnection of growth. So you have your mind, you have the body, you have the soul. These are things that you grow. These are things that you develop from time to time. For the mind, what are the things you're developing? You're developing your thoughts, you're developing your memory, you're developing your consciousness, you're developing your knowledge about a particular thing. These are the things you develop in your mind, or through things you develop through your soul is emotions and your willpower. Willpower to do what is right, having the right emotion, the emotional bank. How well are you developing your emotional bank? These are the things you grow in your soul. And for your body, what are the things you grow through your body? You grow through your body. Your body helps you to dispense all the things that you've learned, all the things that you've grown through your mind, all the things that you've grown through your soul. Your body dispenses all of this knowledge into the public or into the organization or into the society. So it is essential for you to develop your mind, to develop your soul, and to develop your body so that your body can dispense all your thoughts and imagination. And how do you develop that body? Is through sticking to right regimen practices. Exercise is one of the ways you develop your body. Next slide, ma'am. Next slide. All right, so we have segments of self-development as it keys into the intersection of a person, of a being, keying into the intersection of a being, of the mind, of the soul, of the body. So what are the segments of self-development? We have the mental growth, we have the skill enhancement, and we have the emotional stability. So when you look at the mental growth, it's sort of keying into the development of your mind. Your skill enhancement, keying into the development of your mind and your body. Because in learning, in adult learning, even in educational development programs, you talk about ask. When they talk about ask, they talk about attitude, they talk about skills, they talk about knowledge. So when you look at this ask director, it shows you if what you're learning, the kind of cognitive skills you're developing, and all other type of skills that is being developed. So this is basically, so when you have your mental growth going into your skill enhancement, you develop your mental capacity to deliver. Then while you're delivering, it enhances the skills you have at a workplace or or in the society or whatever you do. And you have an emotional stability to understand, to manage your emotions, to control your willpower, to be mature enough to decide on things, to make decisions that will be profitable to you at the long run. Next slide, ma'am. I'm trying to rush you through because of the timing I have. I know I had 45 minutes, but we'll see how well this would work for us. So we move into the effects of self-development. What are the effects of self-development? So the effect of self-development, it enhances your competitive advantage. So now, the story I told you about, one way I was able to enhance my competitive advantage, I studied industrial chemistry and I was being made a school administrator. But before I was made a school administrator, I had to develop myself, with or without the organizational training programs that is present in the organizational system. I had to develop myself to show that I am of a more competitive advantage. That was what made me go through postgraduate diploma in education, because I never had a degree in education, and I understood that for me to be at a competitive advantage, for me to fit into the system properly, it is expected that I have a degree in education. So that was what led me into postgraduate diploma in education. So at the time the position was open for a school administrator, it was easy for me to key into the system, because I had something that others do not have. I had the experience and I also had the qualification to fit into it. How do you harness? Also, it harnesses your value and potential. How did it harness your value and potential? At the time I stopped, I joined the system, the public service, as a commissioner for finance and planning. I knew there were expectations from me. I had to develop the state yearly budget. I had to develop fiscal policies, cash management strategy for the state. How do I do this? Instead of me getting a consultant to do this for me, I had to develop myself in that capacity so that I could contribute maximally to the system. And they saw the potential in me that I was saving costs for the state and at the same time projecting the state in the right light on the outside. So how did I contribute this value? Some of the things I learned when I signed up for the public financial management program with Harvard. I understand every form of public financial management and what it entails. And I was able to deliver to capacity where I find myself and help the state achieve the right thing. So there was a part of me that I was harnessing my value. Now I'm able to run businesses with the things I learned and with the things I developed myself through while I was in the cabinet, because I've been there, so I have the experiential knowledge and I also have the qualification to write policies for states, to develop fiscal monitoring and evaluation systems for states, and and what have you. And also it aids your career advancement and development. So when you find yourself developing yourself, when there is an opportunity, when there is a chance for growth in an organization, when there's a and you have all it takes in terms of your qualification, in terms of your disposition to duties, it is expected that all of these things will aid career progressions and career advancement and development for you. And also it increases your level of productivity and performance. You would know how to do things better, because when you're developing yourself, you're meeting people, you're knowing people, you're networking in that sphere. And when you're networking in that sphere, it increases your level of productivity, because you can learn, you can do peer review with your other colleagues that you find, some of the people that are doing something different from what you're doing. So you can develop yourself. It increases your level of productivity because you can learn and you can see what you're doing. Next slide, ma'am. Next slide, ma'am, please. So right now, how do you try to develop yourself? You need to be aware of where you're going to. Self-awareness is key to any sense of development, to any sense of growth, be it mentally, be it spiritually, be it physical growth. You need to be aware. It's just like telling someone who wants to have a healthy lifestyle. You need to know that, oh yes, I truly need a healthy lifestyle. If you go online and you have people telling you that, oh, you need to, people telling you that, oh, this is I'm trying to find a product that I can use. This is what do they call it? There's this tea. Let me use tea for example. There's this weight loss tea that is being for sale. Would you want to buy it? There's this weight loss program that is available. Do you want to pay for it? For one, if you're going to get, or if you're going to be involved in such, if you're going to patronize them, you need to be aware within yourself that, yes, I need it. If you want to grow, you need to know that, oh, this is part of my growth chart. This is part of my growth plan. I need to be here in so years. What are the things I need? This is you being aware. Then also discover. Discovery is about you knowing that where do I get the things that I need? Where do I sign up for programs that will fit my level at this point? Where do I sign up for programs that will be beneficial to me at the long run? And then you should be able to assess your growth to achieve. I'm aware of myself. I've discovered training plans that will be good for me. And at the same time, I know that what level of assessment am I giving to myself? Or within the span of 4 months, 3 months, I should have dropped 2 kg. Within the span of 3 weeks, I should have been down from 75 kg to 50 kg. Thereabout. Or within the span of this, I should be able to attract job opportunities that fit my own. I want to move into the world I want to go into prevention. I want to go into an NGO organization that is focused on refugee care. So what do I need to do? I've done courses on humanitarian development. I've done courses on conflict management. And at the end of the day, I should be able to dispense responsibilities in this. So that is me assessing myself at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, you develop, you grow, because you develop yourself to meet into that assessment after being aware of yourself, aware of where you're going to, after discovering the career path or the growth path or the growth manual that will be suitable for your growth, that will be suitable for you. Then you develop yourself, and at the end of the day, you grow. So that is you charting yourself. So you have to be aware, you have to discover ways to grow, you have to assess, you have to measure, you have to be able to evaluate yourself at every point in time, and you need to develop yourself in that capacity. Then we can see the next slide, ma'am. All right, so while charting your manual, so this forms part of the things I talked about in the initial slide. When we talk about awareness, we talked about discovery. So when you're identifying your strengths and weakness, so your strengths and weaknesses helps you to devise a chart, help you to devise a way out of situation. So your strengths and weaknesses are the things that will help you, that will show that you are aware. Some people don't even know their strengths and weaknesses, which is why they cannot really evaluate their growth process. So you need to know your strengths and you need to know your weaknesses at the level of being aware. And you have to be able to choose an area to improve. You can, if you want to choose multiple areas, but it is best, it's advisable you choose an area at a time. You focus on one or two at a time so that you can measure effectively and not having multiple weaknesses or multiple choices to work on for you not to be confused. Then you set your development goals and a roadmap to achieve them. So you setting your development goals it's also part of your assignment. Haven't been aware, haven't discovered a road. So at the same time, when you're test yourself per time, then you track your progress. You cannot track your progress until you start developing yourself. So you start developing yourself, then you track your progress. Then you can also revisit, reassess, and readjust your skills from time to time. So when you're revisiting, when you're reassessing, and when you're readjusting, when you look at when you track your growth process and you see that the medium I'm going through or the channel I'm going through does not work effectively for me, what can I do? So you need to reassess yourself. You need to revisit processes and you need to readjust. So this is what forms so this is part of the ADCAR model. Gap model. When someone is growing, this ADCAR model helps you know if truly you can learn or you cannot learn, and it is centered on you and not nobody else. So even when people are offering you training programs for free, you should be able to know if your ADCAR model can help you grow or not help you grow. Next slide, ma'am. All right, so when you look at this ADCAR gap model, this is just to show you that you need all of this for change action. For you to grow, for you to change, irrespective of whatever you do, you need to be aware, you need to desire that knowledge, you need to acquire that knowledge, and you need to develop your ability to deliver on the knowledge you've gotten. Then from time to time, you need to reinforce yourself. So this reinforcement is also part of continuous self-development program. That is when you bring about change. Without all of this, if one is missing, there will be problems. So if you're not aware, there will be confusion. If you do not have the desire to learn, even if the program is being given to you free of charge, there will be resistance. That means you cannot deliver. If you do not have the knowledge, if you're unable to acquire the knowledge from the process, then there will be fear and anxiety. Then if you're unable to have developed the ability to deliver on that skills that you've gained or that you've gained the knowledge from, then you'll be frustrated because you cannot deliver, but you have the knowledge, you have it on your head, but you cannot reproduce it in any way. So you'll be frustrated. Then if you do not reinforce yourself constantly, you'll find yourself backsliding. So that's why in the spiritual world, they tell you that whatever you learn, you have to practice it immediately. Whatever you read about, you have to practice it immediately. You have to constantly practice it. Even if you learn a new word, if you don't use it up to about 5 or 10 times in a day, you find yourself forgetting. So this reinforcement is what will keep you informed and in change for you to maintain the change action that you develop. That's for the ADCAR model. Next slide, ma'am. Now, for visibility and influence, now you have to develop yourself. Yes, please. A message just came in. If you have any question along the line, before we open the room for questions, it's better you start dropping it in now so that I can just answer it immediately we're done with the session. So self-development for visibility and influence. The self-development for visibility and influence, you have to grow yourself for your team or your peer group to actually find you visible. And there's something that your organization must also find you growing, or the world or the society you belong in. So I'm just using this for an organizational setting. That's why you have the entire organization. You develop yourself first, your team notices you. So for your team, once you develop yourself and you know that I have this ability to do this, you mentor your team through it. When you're mentoring your team, that means you're influencing them and they can find you visible that, oh, yes, she has this thing because she was able to influence us in this area. She was able to mentor us in this area. And your entire organization or the society you find yourself, you have to be able to volunteer for responsibilities and for growth. So volunteering is a major process when there is an opportunity, for you to say, oh, I'm going through this, my organization, if you do not contribute by volunteering to an organization or to a society, nobody will know you have that ability. Nobody will see you. So you need to understand that wherever you find yourself, being into a volunteer service, for those that are into the NGO, like what OCI is doing, tomorrow, if I want to do something in my local government provincial, if I want to run a program, let's say zero hunger program, zero hunger strategy, or I want to do something on youth development, I want to engage youth, the first people that will come to my mind will be OCI, because they have been doing things consistently in the area of youth development, or they've been doing something in helping the less privileged in society through providing support for them. They have their support systems to this, and they've been doing it from years back. And I know that they have the ability. So they are visible to me. They've influenced on their own, and I can see them, then I know that I can attract them, or I can call them for future programs when I need something. So that's the essence of visibility and influence. You have to know yourself, you have to develop yourself, you have to influence and be visible to your team. You have to volunteer for the society you belong in, and you have to contribute maximally so that you can be seen. You know, when we talk about visibility, it's either you self-promote yourself. When you promote yourself, it means that you are letting people know that these are the things I can do. You're selling yourself, because it makes people to know that they are aware of you. They are aware that you exist and you can contribute wherever you find yourself. Next slide, ma'am. All right, so self-development for visibility and influence. Now, if you want to develop, if you want to be visible and if you want to influence yourself, you know, I talked about promote yourself. That's why we'll talk about promotion, letting people know that these are the things I do. I can do this, I can do that. Then you have to practice the skills learned and develop. Yeah, I mentioned something earlier. When you're doing these things, you have to let people know, you have to do it, you have to reinforce yourself, you have to develop the ability to contribute whatever lessons you've learned. Because if you do not contribute it to the system, people will not know. And it's possible you backslide or you forget. So that's why you have practice till you become a pro, till you become a professional where you find yourself. Integrity cannot be overemphasized. Integrity. I was reading this book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I was reading this book yesterday, and they talked about the win-win paradigm of growth. Win-win. Win-win is really essential that many people in Nigeria do not have. Many people are like win-lose. But for you to have a win-win, if you have a win-win mindset, win-win mindset is has integrity being part of it, has maturity being part. And what is maturity? Maturity has to be a balance between courage and consideration, being able to have a balance between courage and that. We also have abundance mentality. So when you have this thing, you are building your character. You're building your character. And integrity being part of you building your character is you building and maintaining trust. When you know you can do this, do it efficiently. Let them know that they can trust you with this assignment. When you're volunteering for things that when you sleep, you know that I'm giving them value, 100% value and nothing short. So this is why integrity, because integrity is what will make people come back to you. It is a value that cannot be, you have to continue. You have to be intentional about maintaining your integrity wherever you find yourself, because that is what will bring people back to you. Also, leverage networks. Because while you're promoting yourself and you're leveraging networks, people will know you at every point in time. When you have the first contract I got through the public sector, being a management consultant, but from people that I met while I was doing my consultant management development program. I met them, I contributed maximally while doing the program. They said, oh yes, you can do this. I had several offers through that program, because some of these people are people that have been in the contract world, or they've been in the consulting world for years. Some of them are just outsourcing companies that they get the job and give it to facilitators to deliver for them. Now, they met me. I was able to leverage on the network I had And it launched me into the consultancy firm without stress, without hassles, because they know I was able to leverage on the network I got. The next slide, please. All right, so while you're trying to chart a development manual or chart a development course, you have to be tactical about it. You have to be aware of what you are venturing into, because you have to be sure about what you're doing. It will be wrong for you to start regretting on any self-development program you sign up for. It will be totally wrong. So these are some of the considerations that we would want you to have. Do you have the time that is required on a daily or weekly basis? Are your personal and professional obligations sufficiently under your control to devote yourself to the required schedule? So some people would say, oh, I had to go for my master's, I have a job, I have this program, a 2 weeks course that I need to develop myself on. I have a job now, let me resign because I need to develop myself on this. And you don't have any source of income. You don't have any source of income for yourself. I would not advise that. You have to look at other ways you can harness or benefit from similar programs that would not interfere with your life schedule, if possible. But there are some that you know that I'm giving it all up now because of where I stand to, where I get to stand in future months or future years to come. Then you're signing up for it knowing that this is effective on the long run. This is achievable on the run. This is realistic. This is going to help me grow. This is going to position me better once I'm done with this. And what are your past experiences with self-development activities? You need to be able to answer your question. Are you the person that will just do it for 2 days and will backslide? Some people are into self-paced program, online courses most times, whereby they are all pre-recorded training programs. And they'll tell you that this program is available online for the next 2 years or 1 year. And you have to complete the certain level before you get certified. So because it's self-paced, and most times, these courses, they are free most times. And you know it's self-paced, the program is available for the next year. And you join them 1 day, 2 days, and the following week, you are not found. So you do just the introductory aspect, and you could not follow through to achieve the essence of you signing up for this program. So you have to know your past experiences with self-development activities. How faithful are you to all of this program?
Please bear with us. I think it's the network. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think it's the network. How has the meeting been so far? Do you think it's worth it? Worth your time?
Over what you do.
It's going on well.
Awesome. Awesome.
The insights she has been saying, it's super amazing, especially if you are in the line of career and all of that. Like, they're so applicable. Really.
Where you want to change your career, or so what's the one thing we were able to pick out from today's meeting? What's that one thing? I think she's still gonna come back on to continue.
I'm back now. Can you hear me now?
Welcome back. Yes. We can hear you. We were hearing you a moment ago. So type in the comments one thing you have picked from today's meeting that you think you can apply. What's the one thing? Yeah, she said it's a network. One has to be self-aware. Very true. Very true. What else? I have to keep repeating what I mean. Very true. The value of self-development. True. True, true, true. Because you cannot go more than where your mind has gone. You cannot go farther than where your mind has been. One needs to focus and develop oneself as time goes on. Very true. To remain relevant, you need to keep developing. Consistent contribution will increase your chances of visibility. Very true.
Okay, I've changed my internet. I hope this because the first internet was my most reliable internet, but I had to change it.
Okay.
So, ma'am, can you please help me with some of the questions so that I can quickly answer some of the questions before?
Are you almost done with your slides?
Yes, I think I have only 2 slides to go.
Okay. Can you finish up so that you don't have to come
Yes. All right, that's fine. Yes, please. Next slide, ma'am. All right, so that's like the last slide anyways. As I said, your self-development plan must be structured, must be guided, and you must have the right, it must be well developed to build competencies. It will strengthen your ability to achieve your growth mission in an effective way. So when you develop your self-development plan must be well structured. We talked about the SMART acronym. It must be guided. That means, if possible, you have an accountability system to it. That is what we talked about, you measuring it. And it must also aid your personal development. It must aid your personal development. You must know that you are developing yourself and you're building competencies around you and you're strengthening your ability to achieve that growth mission. So growth is at the back of your mind. Don't forget the manual, the assess, the discovery, the assessment, the awareness, the discovery, the assessment, and the development for you to grow. So that is something that you must have behind your mind. So it has to achieve that growth mission that you have in an effective way and an efficient way. And by its meaning, your self-development plan, it is your responsibility. So please do the world well to grow. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was amazing. I had to write notes. It was so good. Thank you so much. I think we can give you like 5 minutes. I don't want to eat into the other speakers' time so much. So 5 minutes for questions. Any other questions after the 5 minutes? I can always send them to you later, and then you can answer, and then maybe we'll do designs, question and answer, and all that. So, Ms. Simi.
All right, Ma. Thank you very much for this session. The first question we have here is, how do you decide if a goal is realistic? That's our first question, Ma.
You're muted.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
All right, thank you, ma'am. How do you decide if a goal is realistic? Let me choose a course. So I'd like to use example for this. You graduated from my course. You graduated from industrial chemistry department, first degree, and where you see yourself in future year is to be a quality assurance person, a quality control officer, or you want to be an health safety environment officer. Now, over time, some of the things that are these several specialities across, for whatsoever your course you studied in school, there are specializations to it. There are specialization, and it is a lot. You know, before we didn't see human resource as a specialty before. We didn't even see HSC or quality control officer as a specialty. But you see people developing themselves because they want to be specialized in a particular area. You see environmental advocates that are trying to be specialized. So you look at this, you know, this is where I intend to be. This is where I intend to be in 10 years or in 5 years. I want to be the foremost quality control officer, such that all top 5 industrial organizations are after me. I want to be delivering. I want to be training people to become excellent. I want to be training people to become excellence in quality control practice. I want to become a quality. You know, some of the specializations we have now didn't start before. Someone just woke up and said, I can bring specialization, I can bring professionalism to this course that is being studied, to this qualification. And boom, they are out on it, and everybody is signing up for their program because they want to be specialized. And you look at it, it started from just one person. It wasn't even from the university settings. It was just outside. People just said, there is more. We can do this better. We can be more ethical around this program. We can be more ethical around the system. So these specializations are some of the things that can drive you, and that is what will channel your realistic goal to performance. So you need to know if this is it and how much time do you have for it to be realistic. You cannot say, I want to be an FCA in 2 years. I want to be an FCA in 1 year. I don't know. I'm not really good with chartered accountants per se. But if you want to be a chartered accountant, you cannot fast track it outside the system of the organization itself. So if to be a chartered accountant will take 5 years, you cannot say you want to achieve it in 6 months. So if you say you want to achieve it in 6 months, already we know that it is unrealistic. So you have to look at what your mentors did. How well did those that are ahead of you, how well were they able to achieve the system, and what did it take them for you to see it as being realistic? Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have space for one last question. Okay, quickly. Our next speaker is ready. Okay, there's a question here that says, how do you strike a balance between self-promotion for visibility, which is usually free, by engaging in volunteering and starting to stay in your niche and create an income from it?
Okay, so for that, self-development, that is like, sorry, I'm trying to put some things online for those that want to see courses where they can have courses online free of charge. So I'm just going to put that in the chat box. All right, so for self-development or self-promotion, and you volunteering and having to have a niche for yourself. You see, when you're volunteering, know who you're volunteering for. Position yourself. Let them know that you are worth every dollar that will be paid, even if you're doing it as a free service. So peradventure you want to volunteer for profit, or when you're volunteering for non-governmental organization, you are building your capacity, you're building your resume, you are building yourself. And when you're positioning yourself around the right people that can actually see value in what you do. So you have to be strategic. There's something about branding that has a lot to do with your growth and you having a niche for yourself. You have to sit down, think how to reach the people that can actually pay you for your services. Look at how you can help. You can contact people that can see you from value perspective and not from, there's a word they use on LinkedIn. It's volunteering, but sometimes people just see that you're trying to just do something. And when people are actually engaging you, people you're training or those that are being engaged, that you are being engaged for, they can see value in you and recommend you for what would actually pay you on the future, in the future at the future run. So it is important for you to place yourself strategically. Ensure that while you are promoting yourself, you're selling yourself. And there are some words that are expected to be used when you are promoting yourself. There are some words, there are some semantics. So they talk about strategic communication. Still another topic on its own. There's a self-development strategy to it, whereby when you're commenting, you say, oh, instead of you saying, I allow, I enable, I promote. Do you understand? There are some words to it that will open doors of opportunities for you. And people know that they are not doing whatever it is you're doing, they're not doing it for free. So they know that you're not doing it for free per se. So it is expected for you to know how well you want to grow and how well you want people to see you, and the best way of actually attracting the kind of attention that you need for profit.
Wow. Thank you. Let's give it up for her and say thank you. This is amazing. We can't thank you enough. Thank you so much, Ma. We're grateful for your time, the dedication, and the value.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You guys should write something in the chat. Exactly. Appreciate her. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, OCI. It was a pleasure being here.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Reach out to you later today.
All right, it's fine. Thank you.
Thank you. My regards to the family. Okay, everybody's saying awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So, Ms. Simi, please introduce our next speaker. We don't want to waste any more time.
Okay, ma. Our next speaker is Taiwo Fajolu. Taiwo Fajolu is the MD of HSL Consulting, an author and business consultant with hands-on training experience through a World Bank group-led project. A cognate corporate trainer with a passionate interest in innovation, growth, leadership, and creative entrepreneurship. He's been involved in training for the state